जय हिंद. सरस्वती शिशुकुंज भगवाला बोरसद, English medium, standard 7, subject science, chapter number 11. We are continuing with that chapter, that is transportation in animals and plants. This is video part 2. So in first video what we learned, let's try to recall that all thing. We start with the blood. That is an inseparable part when we are talking about transportation, right? And we talked that which kind of different cells are present in the blood. 3 types of cells we discussed. First one, that is red blood cell, white blood cells and platelets, and it has a different importance. All 3 are different and it has different importance. They are situated in the blood, that we all know. First one, that is the red blood cells. In that red blood cell there is a hemoglobin. That hemoglobin bind with the oxygen. Hemoglobin bind with the oxygen and it will help in the transportation of oxygen. Second one, that was a white blood cell. This white blood cells act as army of our body, means it will protect our body from the bacteria, foreign bacteria which try to attack our body, right? Means it is good for our immunity, we can say. The last one was platelets. So these platelets will stop bleeding from any cut, right? I give you example that when you are getting any cut or injury from any part of your body, so within few seconds if there is a minor cut, right, so within few seconds that cut will get covered by a red skin, and afterward, right, it becomes dry. So that all because of the platelets which is present in our blood. After the explanation of blood, we have studied about veins. There are 2 types of veins that you are studying from 4th standard, I think. There is arteries and veins, right? Arteries and veins, blood vessels, basically we call that together blood vessels which carry blood, right? Arteries carry oxygen rich blood and veins carry carbon dioxide rich blood, right? If we talk about arteries specifically, that arteries carry oxygen rich blood from the heart to all parts of body. Arteries carry blood which is oxygen rich from the heart to all the part of the body. And when we talk about veins, so that will carry carbon dioxide rich blood from the organs or other part of the body towards the heart, right? So this is the work of both blood vessels, arteries and veins. One more thing we discuss about capillaries. So what are these capillaries? These arteries, when it reaches in the tissues, it divided into very small thin parts, tubes like, right? So that tubes like veins, right, tubes like blood vessels are known as capillaries, which provide blood to the tissues which is present in our organs. So today we are going to talk about an inseparable part. Without that part, transportation is, we cannot think about the transportation, and that is heart. So the heart is a muscular organ, right, that you are studying from 3rd or 4th standard, that it is a muscular organ. It pumps blood to all the parts of body, right? It pumps the blood to all the parts of body through network of tube which are known as blood vessels, right? The previous topic was a blood vessels, right? So the blood vessels and heart. So heart are connected with the blood vessels, and with the help of blood vessels, heart pumps the blood. That blood runs through these blood vessels. This heart never stops, right? That we all know, heart never stops. It continues its work when we are in a sleep also, right? When you are in the sleep, then also your heart is working all the day long, right, throughout your whole lifetime. Our heart is located in the chest cavity, and its down part, it is little bit in the left side, tilted. Heart is little bit tilted in the left side. Our heart is little bit tilted towards the left side. So we are saying that heart is in the left, but it is in the chest cavity, but it is little bit tilted towards the left. The heart is made up of special kind of muscles which is known as cardiac muscles, The heart is hollow from inside. If we talk about the size of the heart, so roughly the size of the heart is for different for individual. It is like your size of the wrist. Like my heart size will be this much as compared to the wrist, right? Roughly it is like this. For individual, the size of the wrist is different, right? So different human being has a different wrist size. Like that, different human beings heart size is also different. So heart is hollow from inside, that we all know. So that hollow structure has 4 chambers or 4 compartments. So here we talk about 4 compartments. So upper 2 compartments, as you see, so upper 2 compartments are known as arterias. When you talk about one, so we will pronounce it atrium, left atrium and right atrium, right? When you talk about 2 compartments which are down, they are known as ventricles, right? Left ventricle and right ventricle. So these are 4 chambers, 4 compartments, and its name. So now let's talk about how blood circulation takes place or it occurs using this heart. Means what is the role of heart in the circulation or in the transportation. So you can see here the left chambers, both left chambers, right, which is atrium and left ventricle, right? So there is an important part for the oxygenated blood, the blood which has oxygen, right? For that, this too is an important part. Now our heart beats, right? So our heart get contract and it get relaxed, it get contract and it get relaxed. This activity we know. So when the heart contract, at that time, first contraction I am talking about, right? When it get contract, so blood which is there in the ventricle, right? That blood which is in the ventricle will pump outside, right? Now where it will go, I'll tell you. First see, when it get contract first time, right? So blood which is in the ventricle, it will go outside, and the blood which is in the pulmonary vein will carry the oxygenated blood from the lungs towards the atrium, right, into the atrium. Now the blood which is oxygenated means blood which is rich in oxygen, it is present in the atrium, right, left side. Okay, now when it get relaxed, that blood from the atrium will again come into the ventricle, left ventricle, right? It will come into the left ventricle, and when again it get contract, from the ventricle the blood will flow into the main artery. From the artery it will go into arteries which will carry blood throughout the body, right? You understand? Atrium, ventricle, right? Pulmonary vein and artery. Okay, so see here, from the pulmonary vein the oxygen rich blood will come into the atrium. From the atrium it will go into the ventricles, right? And from the ventricles, when it get contract, right? So from the ventricle it will pump into the arteries, and from the arteries the blood is carried through whole body. This is the function of left side chambers. Now let's talk about the right side chambers. Now as you know, that our body require oxygen rich blood, right? So from the heart the oxygen rich blood will flow into the body, but carbon dioxide rich blood which is carried with the veins, it will reach to the heart. How it will reach to the heart? The top right side atrium which is connected with the main vein, which is vena cava, right? This vena cava will collect the blood which is carbon dioxide rich, and it will add into the right side atrium. Now from that right side atrium the blood will go into the right side ventricles. This right side ventricle, when the heart get contracts, the right side atrium will pump the blood into the lungs through pulmonary arteries, right? This pulmonary arteries, the work of the pulmonary arteries to connect heart and lungs, right? The work of pulmonary arteries to connect the heart and lungs, because from the lungs oxygen rich blood will come into the left side of the heart, and from the right side of the heart carbon dioxide rich blood will flow into the lung, right? So this is the work of pulmonary arteries, right? So I hope you understand, right? From the heart carbon dioxide rich blood, how it flows into the lungs, that we understand. From the heart oxygen rich blood, how it flows into the body, that also we understood. So that is the circulation of the blood takes place with the help of this heart, and this is inseparable part of the transportation. So as we understand the circulation of the blood and how it takes place, right, using heart, but the structure of the heart also we need to understand. So there are 4 chambers, the right side chambers, 2 chambers are in the right and 2 chambers are in the left. But if you will understand, the left chamber has only oxygenated blood, right? and here, right side of the chamber, which has deoxygenated blood. So that two blood should be separate, right? When it will get mixed, so there is no use of keeping these two things to separate, right? Because we all know our body require only oxygenated blood, right? The blood which has oxygen more. Okay, so there is a partition. There is a partition wall between these chambers, and which is known as septum. This septum keep these chambers apart, right? They are not allowed, means that septum will not allow oxygen rich blood or carbon dioxide rich blood to get mixed into each other, right? So this is how that septum keeps that two things apart. Okay, one more thing here, as you know that 4 chambers, again and again I am repeating, so it will get fixed in your mind. So this both chambers which is in the right and the both chambers which is in the left, they work, right side and left side, they work as two separate pumps, right? Just imagine that one pump is in a right and one pump is in a left. So pump which is in a left side will pump the blood towards the body, oxygen rich blood towards the body, the pump which is in left side, and the pump which is in right side will pump the blood towards the lungs. It will pump the blood which is carbon dioxide rich blood towards the lungs, right? So here this is the concept, from 3rd or 4th standard we are studying that heart work like pump, heart works like pump. So this is the thing, that how your heart works. So now let's talk about heartbeats. So what are these heartbeats? As we understand, right, the walls of the chambers of a heart is made up of muscles. Now these muscles, it get contract and relax rhythmically. There is one specific rhythm that they follow. These walls, these chambers and walls, they contract and get relaxed rhythmically. And this rhythm, due to this rhythm, there is a spatial beat, right? There is a spatial beat that we call heartbeat, right? That we feel when you will keep your heart a little bit left side of your chest, right? You will feel that heartbeat. You will feel that heartbeat. This heartbeat continue at every moment of your life. This heartbeat, it is continue up to every moment of the life. The doctors, if you have seen, right, they also use stethoscope. They place that stethoscope nearby your heart area, little bit left side, right? They keep that stethoscope, right? And they hear the heartbeats. They are actually counting the heartbeat. This stethoscope actually is useful to amplify the sound of your heartbeat, right? Now if you have seen the stethoscope, there is a chest piece which they place right on your chest. There is a chest piece, an earpiece with the help of which they are hearing it. They keep that thing in their ears. So there is a chest piece and earpiece, and between that there is a tube. So this device is used, a stethoscope is used to amplify the sound of heartbeat. By hearing that heartbeats, they can know the condition of your heart, that how it is, right? And after that they can give you some suggestion according to your health. You can also make a stethoscope like structure using the activity which is given in your textbook. So let's see that activity, how we can make it. So how we can make it? Take a plastic funnel. Now at the end, at the narrow part of that plastic funnel, you have to insert a rubber tube which is easily available in the market. Now use a rubber which is used to make balloons, right? You can purchase any balloon with a small one, right? Now cut that balloon, right, and use that part on the broad side of the funnel. Cover that side and make it fix with using rubber band. Now your small stethoscope is ready. What you will do with that? Now with you and your friends, you have to make a group. Now you have to measure heartbeat and pulse rate. You know how to measure pulse rate, right? Here, as I told you have to keep your right hand's 2 finger nearby this area, right? And you can measure the pulse rate. So you can get pulse rate from there, and heart rate, right? Number of beats in 1 minute that you can hear using this instrument that you just have made. You have to fill this table which is given in the textbook, you and your friend both. So first what you will do, when you are at rest position, when you are sitting normally, right, note down your heartbeat and pulse rate as well as your friend's heartbeat and pulse rate, right? Now any one will run for 4 to 5 minutes, and then after that measure heartbeat as well as pulse rate. After, you also have to run for 4 to 5 minutes, and then again your heartbeat and your pulse rate you have to write in the table. Now see what is the difference after running. Try to analyze why it happens. So when you will compare the heartbeat and pulse rate at rest and after running, right? So you will see that both are equal. So why it is like that? So your heartbeat means one contraction and one relaxation, right? When your heart contracts one time and it gets relaxed, so that is your one heartbeat. So what you observe, if you observe, right, that heartbeat and pulse rate, right, both are equal while relaxing and after the running. Both numbers that you have noted, it is equal. So what happens actually? So your heart, when it beats one time, right, it gives one pulse, right, or we can say one beat. In a heart you will feel in the arteries, and pulse you will feel in your hand, right? So this both numbers are equal because of that. So your each heartbeat generate one pulse in the arteries and one pulse per minute, right? So this is how they both are equal. I hope you understand what I want to tell you. Let's talk about one fact which is connected with the biology. The English physician Williams have rediscovered the circulation of the blood. Before that, everyone has a concept, or we can say opinion, of the oscillation of the blood inside the blood vessels of the body. Oscillation, right, that you are studying, right? In 7th standard also you have studied oscillation, right? So he was, he became impatient. He do many research, and just before his death, everyone accept that circulators, right? Everyone accept is as circulator, means the blood circulation takes place inside the blood vessels. So this was a biological fact which is given in your textbook. So right now we are talking about human body, right? Or we can say generally in all animals they have blood, right? But what about the sponges and hydra which live in the water, right? Do they have blood, or do they have this type of any circulatory system present in their body? So the sponges and hydra do not have blood, right, as they are living inside the water. So the water that they are absorbing, right, the water that enters in their body, that will carry food and oxygen into their body, and it will circulate in their body. And when that water comes out from their body, it will collect all the waste from the particular hydra or sponges, right? That water will take that waste material out from their body. So the sponges and hydra do not have this circulatory type of fluid that is called blood. The water does the blood part. So what we learned today? The heart, which is inseparable part of a circulatory system, right? So let's revise it so much quickly. So if we start from the upper part of the heart, so that is vena cava and aorta, right? From this, if you'll go downside, so there is pulmonary artery and pulmonary vein. If we'll go with the chambers, so there are left atrium and right atrium, right? Left ventricles and right ventricles. So these are the parts of the heart, right? And then we learn that how it will carry oxygen rich blood inside, right? And then it will throw it, or we can say it will pump it into the whole body, right? It will carry the oxygen rich blood, right? It will collect the oxygen rich blood from the lungs, and then it will pump to the whole body. And here if we talk about right side, right chambers of the heart, so it will collect the blood from the body, which is carbon dioxide rich blood, right, into the heart, and it will pump it into the lungs. Heart will pump that carbon dioxide rich blood into the lungs. From the lung through pulmonary vein, the oxygen rich blood or oxygenated blood will enter into the left side atrium, then it will reach into the ventricle, then it will reach to the ventricle which is in the left side, and after that when it get relaxed, right, and again it will get contract. At that time the oxygenated blood or oxygen rich blood will, from aorta, it will reach towards the all arteries. Aorta, what is aorta? That is main artery, we can say. It is a main artery. From that, a different branches of artery will spread in your body, right, which is the main artery. It is known as aorta. Okay, so from that aorta, the oxygen rich blood will flow into the arteries, and then it will reach towards your whole body. Now, from the main vein, which is known as vena cava, that is a main vein. What is the work of vein? To collect the deoxygenated blood or carbon dioxide rich blood. So that vena cava will give that deoxygenated blood into the right side atrium. From that right side atrium it will reach to the right side ventricles, and from the ventricles pulmonary arteries it will reach into the lungs, and again in the lungs it becomes oxygenated, again it will travel into the pulmonary vein, and from the vein it will enter into the left side atrium. From that it will reach into the ventricle, which is left side. From the ventricle it will reach into the aorta, and from aorta, or we can say artery, it will reach into the whole body with the help of arteries, right? So this was the circulation of the blood, right? We also understand that heart is made up of muscles, which is of special kind, which is cardiac muscles, right? Cardiac muscles, okay. And there is a spatum which separate the right side and the left side part of your heart. I hope you understand the circulation of the blood, right, that takes place. And with the help of this circulation, our main purpose is to talk about transportation, right? The transportation of oxygen and transportation of food and many other things occurs inside your body. So if you have any question, you can ask me during the live class about this. Thank you so much.